All right. Being in the group or the group program seems to leave no room for school. How do other parents handle this? So I'm just going to kind of try to bullet point this the best I can because my mind goes several different places with this question. And it ties into a couple of these other questions up here, like when can I, in a sense of like when can I start trusting my kid again, or when should I give them phone, laptop, car, like those kind of things. So the thing that I would say, and it also ties into the PDR question too. So the thing that I would say about school is that like you guys are the parents. Like I'm never going to be the guy that tells you how to raise your child or what you have to do. Like that's part of the parent-driven recovery. And this comes back to like having a partnership with the parents. If we've really got a partnership and we're on the same page and we have a united front, and you guys do with the clinical team, then and we have an understanding that recovery's got to be number one. Like to be a part of, or for me to work with your child, recovery's got to be number one, and I got to be convinced by you and by your kid that recovery is number one. Because knowing, just from like my personal as well as professional experience, anything that is put above my recovery, I'm not going to be able to really do all that well anyways, and I'm probably going to lose. And I can't go to class if I'm dead or if I'm in prison or institutionalized, right? So especially somebody who's dealing with substance abuse issues and really self-destructive behaviors, if we're not in recovery or working on ourselves, those are usually our destination. Jails, institutions, or death. And so for that reason, recovery's got to be number one. A lot of your kids are in a fight for their lives in a very like real sense. So when it comes to the school thing, that's where like the partnership piece comes in. Because if we are on the same page and we're united, then there's almost nothing that we can't do together or we can't make work. And if we are united and on the same page and we implement a plan and it doesn't work, well then it's not all that difficult to kind of come back to the table and be like, okay, what do we need to tweak? What needs to change? Why isn't, there's a reason why this isn't working. What is that reason? But if we don't have that partnership and we're not on the same page, well that's where people start to get really anxious, they get put on their heels, we get really reactionary, and generally I start to make decisions based out of a place of fear. And almost always when I make a decision based out of a place of fear, it blows up in my face. So, and there's so many options when it comes to the school piece, but recovery has got to be number one. I wouldn't be where I am without my education for sure. So to me, it's like recovery is one, and then education is like 1B. That is absolutely important. But if you've got somebody that is, suffering or dying from internal bleeding, you can't just put a Band-Aid on it. Like you got to actually serve the need and have some stabilization, and then look at introducing some of those things at some point. And it looks a little different. There's not a one size fits all. It looks a little different for every family. You have anything, Rex, you have anything you want to add to that with your boys?
We put the microphone?
Yeah.
So, I was really big into education, and I still am. It was almost too forced though, because it was so emphasized in my family, and I emphasized it for my kids. But when I look at the education that Cornerstone has to offer, I realize that outpatient therapy is a better place for them to get educated than the schools that they could attend. They read, they write, they talk, they have really meaningful discussions, and they learn so many valuable habits, and it's more valuable than, I think, a college education. What I've seen that the kids that have gone through outpatient learn is unbelievable. And when they get through that, if they choose to go on with high school or GED or a college education, then they will be better prepared for it. And that took me years in Cornerstone to come to that belief, because I only wanted them to go to high school, graduate, and then go to college. That just wasn't part of their plan. And the same with outreach is a really great education. We tried to do school, regular school or high school, but I don't, honestly, if it was up to me, I would have chosen OP over the high school combo outreach program. Love you.
Love you. Thanks, man. And I just want to add one more thing to that, because it ties into like the winners concept. Winners, like somebody who's good for me, a healthy friend, and there's never really going to be anything more important for your kids than having healthy friends. And so that does come into consideration in my head when we're talking about school, because it's true in just about every school this day and age, that and even to a large extent was when I was in high school, but they're probably not going to find a lot of winners or healthy people in their high school. And remember that we are who our friends are, and that winners concept is so important in early recovery, that kind of, when I think about it from that angle, like puts it in perspective for me in regards to school and their education. Because that piece isn't going anywhere. You know, like when I got sober, I was in outpatient for I think about a year or so, and I didn't do school while I was in outpatient. But when I got out of outpatient, I worked really hard, I had some self-esteem, I had a lot of ambition, and I decided, nobody decided for me, but I decided that I wanted to graduate high school on time. So I did 2 years of high school in a year, because it was important to me to graduate when I was, quote unquote, supposed to. My mom didn't care. My mom was happy that I was alive, and pretty honest and had some integrity. It was like learning about some of those things. She wouldn't matter to her if I graduated a year later, but it was important to me. I wanted to do that because I had the ambition and self-esteem.